So let me give you a few principles for creating a great design team. And one is that you want to bring in the right type of student. And I found out that actually graphic designers were the best. I tried a lot of different students from different fields, and just graphic designers are kind of a strange mix because they're between artists and scientists. And they're used to working hard. Their programs are very challenging. And many of them are realizing that the economy is requiring more than graphic design these days, but also programming skills. And so they're more than willing to learn them. A student would come in and actually sit with me at my desk for 6 weeks, and I'd train them to be a programmer. It was total immersion, and their heads would be spinning by the time they walked out of the room every time they sat with me. But at the end of 6 weeks, they were ready, and then they'd go sit with the rest of the group and go through a very collaborative process and start talking amongst themselves. So in addition to having graphic designers, you want graphic designers that have good verbal skills, and typically graphic designers are of some type of club or guild that they all kind of communicate or socialize together. That was the best kind of student that I could find. Students were very responsible for actually, once they got a project, they owned it, and they created their own designs. I created the architecture. They used ephemera icons, and once again, all was student created. Let's take a look at a few of those designs. This was a matrix design. Many of our designs actually were built upon movies, cartoons, books, adventures, instructional design principles, or Google Maps, so we were doing a lot of fun stuff. This one was based on the Matrix, and it had a nice little Matrix menu. Here's one that actually was built on The Simpsons, kind of cute, cartoonish-looking icons. But all of these courses had all these components that we were building, so everything was reusable. We just stuck all the components into a different course and reskinned the course. And as we moved on, students became skillful at building their own components, and we were just building more and more components. This was an interesting course, and actually there were just numerous courses. I should say we produced about 200 components and courses combined together. I mean, it was very efficient how everyone was working together. And this was a bordella, or a history of prostitution course. It was so funny because we actually produced this course, history of prostitution and history of religion, at the same time, and it was the conversations that went back and forth between the students were very interesting. Students did not just put content together, but I had them research courses and in a sense become instructional designers themselves and learn about the content, learn about what they were doing, and we functioned very efficiently like that, and it was a very interesting conversation, very rich. Once again, you see these same components appearing in the math course that we had, and I actually produced a number of mathematical matrix manipulation algorithms for this course. You see the chat and the modules and the lectures and the calendars. Here's another one, actually a course just based on snakes on plane. You see some of the same symbolism there, and students really resonated to that. That's a very good course. And then we begin to move into 3D as the technology began to evolve, and I actually wrote the book Professional Paper Vision that was published by Wiley, and now 3D is just really entering the web now with the new Molehill applications, and I'm incorporating that into all the stuff that I do now. This was actually a faculty learning community course, and the faculty would log in here, there'd be announcements here, they'd introduce themselves, and they'd use this page for their weekly assignments. One of the things that we did is we operated extremely efficiently. You saw our lab actually had computer skills, so actually built all that equipment, many of it from scratch. So we get old computers that weren't even used anymore, and we just beef up the memory and make them more efficient. So we had all the computer power that we need. All the computer power that we needed. We used a lot of open source software. We learned how to write our own open source software. We used YouTube a lot in the sense that once a student had gotten on a project, he'd actually leave a YouTube trail. And so they do videos on the technology they were doing. And what's so surprising to us, people, not just us, we actually initially did that just so we'd have collaboration among ourselves, but people started watching that. And now my YouTube is up to about 100,000 views a month and growing. So we really created a very rich collaborative environment, and if a student got kicked off a project or got hired or had to leave for a semester, another student would pick right up by watching the YouTube videos and collaborating with other students on how to do that project. So initially through me, you had the 6-week project, go into the student community in a sense there and start learning from each other. It was just very rapid how well they did. Then once again, the status quo, the faculty began to change, and they started to see technology and have ideas that they could do and implement. So a lot of their ideas we actually learned to design and implement for them. And it was just a very exciting time at NKU. And the lifespan, Kevin has a few points on that. He mentions this mission work. And in a sense, it was somewhat of a conversion process. And many people got excited when they saw what the technology could do. And it was a very wonderful experience until essentially it all collapsed due to the economy. I mean, and Kevin say, let's decentralize. Let's help people understand what we're doing. Once again, entering that circle of cybernetics. Let's shout what we're doing for the mountaintops. I mean, I don't think NKU had really any idea how much work had been accomplished, how much had been done. I had 3 terabytes of information I had to sort before I left there, and so many courses had been put up on the web in different servers, and at such a low price. I mean, there was at least $1 million worth of work done there at such a low price. And that's one of the things you can do if you harness your student power and you bring people into a collaborative instance. And it wasn't just students that we had. We actually had several volunteers. So even though I had like 5 students working under me and a full-time guy, we actually had maybe about 20 other volunteers that came in. So I had people just coming into the office to learn what we were doing and take it to industry. So I just had tons and tons of people from the outside and also student groups that were participating. So it actually was about a group of about 20 or 24 that actually was in working conjunction. And it was just a wonderful process. But as soon as the economy went belly up, the university just goes, hey, let's just cut everyone that has a high salary. Now, I was watching the economy at that time, and I saw it hit the partial collapse. And I said to my boss, I will not be here next year because my salary was too high for the university's support. And next thing you know, 2 weeks before my contract was to be signed, I got the email. We can't support you anymore. And pretty much that's what the University of NKU has been doing over the past few years, just cutting all its talent. So in the end, you actually do end up looking like your budget's better. But you're back in the Stone Ages. So, very sad story for me. I have actually moved on. I have a very good job now, and I'm very happy, but I suffered a year of tremendous unemployment. Luckily, the University of Central Florida took me in, and I was able to do some PhD work there, and I'm producing a 3D learning management system for my dissertation. So that's my sad story. That's the end of the book. I was very sad to do this presentation because it brought back all those memories, but this was a very great guy who I, in a sense, admire so much, who had a vision and did something great, and the university didn't recognize it. And I guess they say when you're at the end of the book, close the page. So thanks for listening. This was Mike Lively, and I'll see you next time.